joined now by co-head coach Rich Lucina as we're talking about the Lisbon Broncos going on to the state tournament. Coach, it's the last couple of years since we started covering you guys on yourliveevent.com, it's just seems like there's been some annual traditions, and one of them is we get a chance to talk to you guys qualifying for state as a dual team and with a whole bunch of individuals. Having the momentum like that in a program like that, how much easier does that make your job?
I don't know if it makes it easier. It's just, these kids, they take a lot of pride in making sure they're ready, the next generation's ready. So when these seniors leave, they make sure the younger kids know what it takes to repeat it. And then the younger kids, they don't want to let the older kids down. They still see them on the street. They still see them over Christmas break, and they want to keep it rolling. It's there, no matter what coach, and I tell you what, there's a reason why coaches have gray hair and hair falling out. It's never easy, but it's a lot of fun.
And this senior class that you have, it's a large one numbers wise. There obviously, you got a guy like Bowden who's going to wrestle on at the next level, and he's won a lot of big matches. Guys who've been around a while, been a part of these championship teams. What does this senior class do for the rest of the team?
This is a real special group of guys. Carter Wallner, that's my son. He's a senior here. Since these kids played elementary soccer, football, Monarch football, I coached them in basketball. I tried that for a little while with a few of these boys all the way through. So they've just been a lot of fun to watch grow up. They're really good people. You mentioned Bowden, and I mean he's rewrote the whole stat book for us here in Lisbon. The most takedowns, most wins, most consecutive wins, most pins, just everything. But he's a dang good kid. You sit down and visit with him. He's really just a classy kid. He does things the right way. He puts the time in the classroom. He puts the time on the mat. He takes young kids under his wing. These guys, over Christmas break, Fort Ransom opened up the ski hill, and I tell you, you go out there and you see that these seniors had, 8th graders, 9th graders out there with them hanging out. They're not just teammates. They kind of became friends, and they families, what we always talk about, and they treat each other like kids.
And wrestling, a sport where you're so unique in the fact that 7th graders, 8th graders, freshmen, I mean, they're competing at the varsity level, they're contributing at that level. I mean, I think it's an aspect that makes a sport like wrestling so different and unique and special.
100%. Yeah. And you've got that. We've got a 7th grader, Cruz Ranky, on the team, and he's got seniors that are 18, 19 years old wrestling on the team, and they're all working each other, pushing each other, trying to get better. It's maybe a benefit for us with the junior high kids that they have that chance at varsity. Sometimes I think that kind of convinces them to try us anyway, with basketball not being able to really make varsity until you're a freshman or sophomore, so some benefits there that kind of help pack the room. And then once we get them in the room, we're usually pretty good at keeping them. They do a pretty good job of it.
When I got a chance to talk to you after duels, with some of the injuries and just some of the things that have come up this season, you said that you really felt this year that guys have learned to maybe be grateful to have these opportunities to compete and these opportunities to show up and wrestle the competition that they do. Is that a conversation that you've been having with these guys about, what these 4 or 4+ years for some of the underclassmen it means to compete at a high school sport?
Yeah. Sure you're a football fan too, Joel. And when Tom Brady retired, he had a kind of a tearful retirement there. And I brought up, I remember when Wayne Gretzky retired and having to, listening to him and his emotional speech at the end. And that's what I told the boys: someday you're going to be old and fat like me, and the best thing you got for competition is playing softball with your other old men. But this is your chance. It's fleeting. Even if you're a kid like Bowden that might get to go on to college and do it, it's still very limited the amount of time you get to compete. So when you get a chance, take full advantage, and like I said, let the chips fall where they may. You just never know what might happen.
And to have a community like Lisbon behind they're behind all their sports. We get a chance at your live event to see all the sports throughout the year, and they're behind all of them. And wrestling, you guys have had the success that you've had. What's it like to have the community show up to all these tournaments and to when you have the store hog, all these businesses come and help out your other tournaments, they're helping out. What's it like to be a part of that?
It's awesome. We call it the Sea of Red. It follows us they're usually there before half the other teams show up. The fans are they live and breathe wrestling around this area. They have for years and years. If we need anything and we ask for help, we'll get 100 volunteers. I mean, that store hog tournament you mentioned, that couldn't happen without the volunteers we have. We have adults volunteering to run and clean up mats for blood. We have adults running the sport clock. We have the Carter family, which been around Lisbon wrestling for 45 years, probably, if not longer. Jarrett runs the tournament up there for us. I mean, it's really a pretty special feeling here in Lisbon when it comes to it. And like I said, for all sports, I mean, you can go to a football game or any of it, but especially wrestling, I think this area kind of lives and breathes wrestling, and they follow it pretty close. So.
And I had a chance to talk to Coach McClary about this as well. Is your family, is at home while you're out here coaching, and for you it's different in the sense that you get to coach Carter, you get to coach your son and into his senior year. First, and just talking about family, what's it like to have that opportunity?
I love it, and it's tough. I always say I'm a way better coach of everyone else's kid than I am my own. It's a tough thing, but it's a privilege to get to do it. This year's been tough. He's a senior, so every time you're just one little bit closer to the last time. That's tough. My wife, she comes and watches everything. We got 5 kids, so she's got the herd, and she lines up, whether if she comes out to like New Salem, she lined up a babysitter to take care of the kids over the weekend. She does far more than I probably have a right to ask of her, and it's kind of a blessing in that sense. But she started out never knowing wrestling. She's right up there now. She'll yell too if she thinks it's a takedown. She's got all the lingo down. Got all my kids, even my daughter Lainey, the twins, they're in 3rd grade and they like wrestling. We got Brent Dick down here that he's a godsend for us for our elementary program, and he's got all them hooked. So fortunately, however I want to look at it, looks like I'm stuck here for another 9 years coaching, and hopefully I'll have a bunch of my own kids coming through and they get to bring their friends along like Carter did here, where, like I said, they all become part of your family. Those Grant and Gabe and Bowden and Levi and Carter, man, I remember playing, like Monarch football with them and traveling all over, and we'd be going to wrestling tournaments and they're always in the gym, and you go to you go to a summer baseball and they're all on the same T-ball team. It's just, that's kind of a neat feel. So those kids all become part of your family, whether you know what's happening or not.
You get a chance when you go out to the Fargo Dome to you get to see the fraternity of coaches, guys that you coach against, you've coached with, you've been around. You get to see them and their wrestlers develop. What's that feeling like to get to be a part of that fraternity of not just a wrestling coach, but a wrestling coach who gets to go to the state tournament?
It gets more special every year, and you start to see those old, what I thought were the old coaches when I started, they start retiring and they start stepping down, and next thing you know, you're coaching against kids that you used to that wrestled against you. I mean, you talk Coach McClary, I'm so dang old. I remember coaching against Kevin when his dad was coaching him over in Napoleon, and we see like Bishop Ryan, and they got Brock Nagel up there, which he wrestled in Linton, so we coached against him for years and years, and just a nice kid. And it's the wrestling coaches are kind of a close-knit group. You start to get to know each other, and you get to know their kids, and even though you might want to beat them all the time and you wish they were jerks, so it was, but they end up being pretty nice. It's what it takes to succeed in wrestling, I think, takes a special breed, and it kind of shows up in these kids. So it's hard to hate them by the end, even though you get tired of seeing them wrestle your guys all the time.
You guys will go on to the Fargo Dome, obviously, with the goals of winning those double championships, again, with some individuals being on the podium, some individuals to win a state championship. Obviously, being there every year is only as good as it is that year. It's what's going to happen over those 3 days. What are these guys going to have to do to come away with those next round of championships?
Be themselves. I mean, they've worked hard. I tell them all the time, if if you do the right things in life, good things tend to happen. So I think they've put the time in, they're working their butts off still. We're gonna, it always takes a little bit of health, a little bit of luck, and an awful lot of hard damn work. And I think they've done the hard damn work. So now we just need that little bit of luck as we go forward, and hopefully everything pans out the right way. So.
All right, Coach. Thanks as always for joining us here, and we'll see you around the Fargo Dome and hopefully talking about some state champions.
I appreciate it, Joel. Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
We're talking with Cruz Ranke, 106-pounder here for the Lisbon Broncos as they get set for the state wrestling tournament. Cruz, you get an opportunity to wrestle varsity as a 7th grader. What's that feeling like been like for you so far this season?
It's been great. Getting practice with the older guys, pretty nice.
106 pounds is typically been a very competitive weight class for the Lisbon Broncos wrestling team. Internally, there's a lot of really good 106 pounders you get to wrestle against, 113 pounders you get to wrestle against. What's it like for you guys in practice every day?
Yeah, the competition really makes us a lot better, I say.
What has been some of the highlights for you so far this season as you start getting ready to head into the state wrestling tournament?
Well, I think I'm at like about 20-some career wins. It's pretty nice as a 7th grader.
What of tournaments that you competed in some of the big duels that you guys have had? Any matches, any moments in there so far that have stood out for you?
Well, I had to face the #1 guy at the state at the Elder Larson tournament. I didn't win, but
What was that experience like for you?
well, it was, I guess, helped me learn later about what he likes to do. It's good seeing that type of competition.
And finally, state wrestling tournament right around the corner. Always a fun opportunity to wrestle at the Fargo Dome. What are you looking forward to most about the chance to wrestle at state?
I really I want to qualify for state, and I'm really happy that I get to wrestle dual team and hopefully get another state title.
All right, Cruz, thanks for joining us here. Good luck moving on to state.
Thank you.
We're talking with Caston Waitson, member of the Lisbon Broncos wrestling team. They're getting ready for the state wrestling tournament. Caston, you've had a good season for you here. What were your goals coming into this year, and where do you feel you're at so far in meeting those?
Well, my goal, now that I've had a couple losses, just go undefeated for the rest of the season, and the only way to do that is keep working hard up in practice.
What have been some highlights for you competing this year? I know you've done well at some tournaments individually and as a team, obviously qualifying for team as a state, but when you think about your successes this season, what would those ones be?
Probably winning a couple tournaments like the Carrington tournament and the Dan Unruh tournament, and then just proving to myself up in the practice room that I'm like working on conditioning and everything up in practice. I just want to be the best conditioned one on that.
You're in your junior season, you wrestle a lot of varsity matches. Do you feel that your role in that wrestling room maybe has changed a little bit going into this season?
I mean, we still have our leaders up there, and we all are leaders up there. Yeah, we're all pretty much hold the same role for the most part. We have our spots.
What are you looking forward to going back to the state wrestling tournament? You've had some success there, obviously winning state championships as a team, being on the podium, but what are some things besides the wrestling that you look forward to with your annual trip to the Fargo Dome?
just the experience and being with the teammates for 3 straight days. It's just nobody can understand how that really feels unless you're out there.
Obviously you've had your goals for this year for the state wrestling tournament. What are you expecting from yourself for those 3 days in Fargo?
Wrestle my hardest, and like I said, my goal is to go undefeated the rest of the season. So hopefully I'll be on top by the end. That's where my end goal is.
All right, we're talking with Caston Wadeson. Thanks for being with us here. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Talking with Mike Nelson, junior 145-pounder from the Lisbon Broncos here on our wrestling special. We'll have coverage of the Broncos through the state tournament here on yourliveevent.com. First off, Mike, a successful season as a team. You've had some success yourself. Congratulations on that. What's the feeling like getting to wrestle with your team at the Fargo Dome for 3 days?
It's good to see the end coming. I think we'll all be happy with how the season turns out. Everybody's busting their butt up in the wrestling room, and I think good things are on our way.
Practice, obviously practice is what makes a wrestler better when it comes time to compete, but it's always a grind. How much do you guys band together for those practices and for those workouts and for all that conditioning?
We're definitely a family up there. Everybody's out there pushing each other day in, day out. It's a brotherhood, and there's nothing like it.
Coming into this season, you had your goals, you had your expectations. Do you feel that you met so far? Obviously, still the state tournament to come. Did you feel that you've met so far what you thought you wanted to see this season look like for you?
No, I think my goals are all about the end of the season. That's kind of what my mind goes to right away at the very beginning of the season. I'm looking towards the end. I'm looking for an end result, something to work for the entire season, and I won't stop until I get there.
And looking at how your season has gone overall, what are some matches and some moments you're looking back at as maybe a moment where you feel that you figured something out a little bit more, or a moment that you felt that you maybe turned a corner this year?
I think the Storhog, our home tournament, just in general, was a big confidence booster for me coming off an injury and just getting my first ranked match at 145 and getting the win there. That was pretty big confidence booster.
And finally, what are the goals for this Broncos team that you have for your team, and the goals you have for yourself coming up at the Fargo Dome for the state tournament?
Being at the top of the podium all across the board.
All right. And what's it going to take for you guys to be there?
A lot of hard work and grit just to finish her off. We got 2 weeks, and I think we can do it.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us here. Good luck. Eli Lyons with us here on our wrestling special on yourliveevent.com. First off, congratulations. You guys earn a dual trip onto state, a chance to be at the Fargo Dome for 3 days. What's it like knowing that you guys get to compete as a whole team again here, at least one last time this season?
Just going to get another chance. You can make anything happen, just having the chance.
What were some of the goals that you have set for yourself this year, and where do you feel that you're at in meeting those goals?
I was hoping to qualify for state this year and hopefully get a win on the individual side. I think I'm doing pretty good at qualifying so far, and we'll have to see what happens after that.
You guys wrestled against South Border in the dual championship. Obviously, you see them pretty much all year in your region competition. You wrestle them in duels, you wrestle them in the dual tournament. You see them at every individual tournament just about that you're at. It's been South Border neck and neck in dual competition the last few years. What's it like to have a rival team like that you guys just are constantly running into over your season?
It gives us something to stay motivated about, making sure that we have something to work forward to in practice every day.
What have you really wanted to come into this year, technique wise, competition wise? What were some things that you really wanted to get better at this season?
Working for my feet, really want to get better at that, being able to take anybody down if I tried.
You're on the younger side of a wrestler who wrestles in your weight class. Usually you see some upperclassmen. You see a lot of wrestlers there. What's it like to see some older, more experienced varsity wrestlers every week?
It's a good experience, and then knowing that I can compete with those guys gives me something to look forward to for the years coming.
And finally, what are the goals for you guys at state, for yourself and for the rest of your team?
Our goal is to come out as champions in the dual and individual side.
And what would it mean to you to come back to Lisbon after 3 days in Fargo with 2 plaques for 2 state championships?
We feel really good knowing that we did it again after many years past.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you out there at the Fargo Dome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Continue on with our wrestling special. We're talking to Blaze Ranke from the Lisbon Broncos. Blaze, you guys getting ready for the state wrestling tournament. It's a long season. You guys putting a lot of work to get ready for the season. You put a lot of work in season. What's it like to know that you're coming in on that home stretch to end the year?
It feels really good, but at the same time, we're not done yet. So we kind of just got to focus on this week and just take every step one step at a time.
What do you guys do differently in terms of your preparation, getting ready for this part of the season? I mean, obviously you guys continue to work hard, but do you try to find more rest when you get those opportunities, or do you just push at that same tempo as you did from day one?
The tempo's it's about the same, maybe a little more rest, but it's roughly the same. Just try to fine tune the little things, I guess.
And for your season overall, what do you feel that you've done well so far this year? And where do you think that could be some areas that you might need to get a little bit more sharp as we head into the week of the state wrestling tournament?
I think I need to just get a little more sharp on bottom a little bit and work on my feet, but everywhere else I feel pretty good. I always can get better though.
And when you have those things that you want to work on, you talked about wrestling better on the bottom. And I know you guys have plenty of drills that you work on, but do you just find guys and say, hey, this is what I want to work on? What can you throw at me? I mean, how do you approach that with your teammates when you have those areas you want to get better at?
I got a lot of great practice partners on the team, obviously, so I'll kind of just step aside to one of them every once in a while, and they'll show me a couple new things to get better at the position I want to get better at.
Do you feel as a team when you guys step into the mat to wrestle in a tournament, to wrestle in a duel, that you really feel already tested from practice and the fact that you wrestled some of the top wrestlers in the state and your teammates?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's a really, really big part of it.
What do you feel has been an individual highlight for you this season? Maybe a win, maybe a big match that you competed in?
I'd say getting revenge for my state finals last year at East West. It's a big match. A lot of good matches though besides that.
And obviously you mentioned that match last year at state. You've had a lot of experience at state. You've been in some big matches. Do you kind of take that with you when you get ready for state of what happened last year and knowing that mentally it's made you a little bit stronger?
Yeah, I definitely think it helps getting there and it just not as nervous, but at the same time it's kind of just it's a new year, new me. Gotta just focus on this year.
Obviously, every year you've gone to the Fargo Dome, there's been success, so individually, success as a team. But what are some other aspects of that experience being at the state tournament? What are some things besides that you've really been able to enjoy?
Kind of just getting there and just taking a big look at the huge just place to wrestle, but at the same time, it's just you see a mat, like we say here, you see a mat, you're at home, you just can spend time with your teammates.
And finally, what are the goals heading into the state wrestling tournament for you, and what's the goal for the team overall?
I think all the goals just be state champions, and then myself too. I think I can try to go for that goal.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bowden Greenlee with us on a wrestling special here on yourliveevent.com, talking to members of the Broncos wrestling team as they get ready for the state tournament. Bowden, you've been to the state tournament quite a bit in your career. What are you looking forward to doing it one last time?
I'm excited just to get after it, get to compete, have fun, have one last good ride, get better at wrestling.
What would one more state championship individually, winning the individual, as a team and then winning dual, what would winning 3 more championships across the board mean for you?
That'd be everything. That's Lisbon culture and want to be the best to ever do it here. Be really fun. So yeah, it's a goal I've had for a long time since I was young. Wanted to win 6 titles, didn't get it done my 7th grade year. Try to finish right.
It became official this year that we knew we were going to go to NDSU. You get the opportunity to officially sign. When that news kind of came out and was more well known, what were the reactions you were getting that you were going to be a Bison wrestler moving forward?
Yeah, it was all good stuff. Had a lot of opportunities to look at some colleges, and I really like them guys, and I love them coaches. They've done a lot for me up to this point. I've gotten way better at wrestling because of them guys, and I'm excited to represent the state, have fun there, and hopefully win a national championship for them someday.
And looking at the Bison wrestling team this year, they've had a lot of ranked wrestlers. They've won some big duels. There's some North Dakota boys on that team who've had some success. What's it like knowing that you're going to get a chance to kind of jump on board in this wrestling program when it's headed in that direction?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I got some good partners around my weight. Hopefully looking to take Jared Franik's spot and continue a good legacy.
And getting the chance, you talk about it, it's all about wrestling, that legacy that you have in Lisbon. You want to be the best to do it, and knowing that you've had this success and you're moving on to the next level. I mean, do you get a chance to share that with some of the younger wrestlers, not just the ones on your team, but looking at the wrestlers at the junior high and elementary level?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope everybody knows what I'm doing, and I hope that they see what I'm doing and they understand that you put in the work and you put in the time, good things happen. So
coming into this season, what were your goals that you set? I know there's state championships, but there's a lot more markers along the way. Where do you feel that you fell on the list that you set for yourself, accomplishment wise, so far?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I've had some stuff that I can improve on. The goal coming into the season was to not wrestle a full 6 minutes. Rumble on the red, didn't quite get that done, but that's all right. We're pushing forward. I just trying to score as many points as I can.
So far, talking about what you've done this season, what have been some of the highlights so far for you?
I'd say the Rumble title was the main one. I've been going to that tournament since I was in 3rd grade, and when I was younger, I came away with a few, didn't place, maybe like a 4th or something. I'd never won the tournament before, so that was a big one for me.
And Rumble is such a huge tournament for all levels of wrestling, wrestlers around the nation. What's it like to be in a building like that where you're seeing some of the best from around the Midwest?
Yeah, I mean it's good stuff for sure. Lot of good wrestlers. It's good being in that presence. I feel like it elevates my performance and it's really fun.
You'll go to the Fargo Dome for 3 days. Last time you're going to wrestle there as a Bronco wrestler. You guys, or what are you going to do maybe differently to try to take it in, or what's the perspective you're going to bring into those final 3 days there?
The biggest thing is just having fun. I think every match, just not rushing, looking at every match as one match at a time, and just going out there with a smile on my face and enjoying all of it.
And obviously, the goals. What are you going to do if you meet all 3 of those goals and your time as a Bronco is ending? What's the plan going to be for those couple days afterwards?
I don't know. I guess we'll see, I suppose.
All right. Well, Bowden, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you out there at the Fargo Dome.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Back on our Lisbon Wrestling Special on yourliveevent.com, Levi Svem joining us from the Broncos wrestling team. Last year, wrestling as a Bronco, what's that feeling like?
Oh, it's always a good feeling to be a Bronco. I mean, it's always a joy. It's a brotherhood more than anything, so it's always good.
Coming into this season, what were some things that you knew that you wanted to improve on, and where do you feel that or what have you been able to accomplish from that list of things that you know you wanted to get better at?
Oh, well, definitely on bottom. I was hoping to get better, and I feel like just like with working teammates and coaches this year, I see a definite improvement on bottom here. So, yeah.
What have been some moments this season where you really felt that maybe you've turned a corner, maybe something that you wanted to do that you've done, or you felt that you got into that groove of competing this year?
I think winning the East West was pretty big for me. I felt like a big accomplishment, so I enjoyed that.
East West, those 2 days out there, a lot of the best Class B wrestlers you're going to see at state, wrestlers that you see already in your own region. Some people, they consider that like the mini Class B state wrestling tournament. What are those 2 days like for you guys to go out there and compete?
Oh, it's always fun competing. Whenever we see Mats, we're at home, so it's a little bit different when you're in that kind of environment, smaller gym, and then you have a small back gym. But once you get used to it, it's just like any normal day of wrestling.
Um, this season, you guys obviously have won your share of tournaments. You've competed well individually. Central Cass Letterman tournament is one that you guys kind of routinely win. You guys, I know, had some injuries in that tournament, didn't compete as well. Did you guys kind of maybe take a moment and look at the Letterman tournament and say that here's a moment for us to set a mark to improve?
Yeah, we looked at that and we just knew we had to come in Monday and grind even harder and just keep pushing it and got to look forward to the next week and just keep going.
Uh, what do you feel that you've done differently this year as one of the older wrestlers, an experienced wrestler, time coming to an end, that maybe you've done differently in terms of being a leader, in terms of maybe sharing some more of those experiences that you've had in your career?
Yeah, I've tried to take a step up in leadership roles, like looking over the younger kids, helping them with moves, as well as us as seniors. We've been running conditioning this year, so we try to push us to the limits and just keep going from there and try to make the best team possible.
3 days at the Fargo Dome will be your last time going out there to wrestle and compete. Do you think you might maybe move a little bit slower in the sense that you want to take a little bit more of that feeling in before it all comes to an end?
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely going to make it last, enjoy it while I can. It's always fun to compete with my brothers out there. So,
And you guys have your goals. What are your goals to finish those 3 days in Fargo for yourself, and what are your goals for the whole team?
state champions in both categories there. Definitely as a team and individual are my two goals.
And you've won those double championships every year, pretty much your whole career. I believe your whole career. What's going to be like to do it one last time?
Oh, it's going to feel great. It's going to be like every other year, but it's really going to taste nice, meaning it's my last year going out on a win. If we can do it, we'll just have to make sure to stay on task, do our job, and just handle it.
All right. Well, Levi, thanks for being a guest with us here, and good luck.
Thank you.
Gabe Lyons with us on a wrestling special here on yourliveevent.com. You can hear audio only coverage of the state wrestling tournament coming up 3 days at the Fargo Dome. Gabe, you guys get to go on to wrestle as a team, winning that dual championship. You guys are so close, and that's what your teammates have been saying is just how close everyone is. And obviously, when you go there as an individual, your team will be there. But to wrestle as a dual team, what does that mean to you?
I just love just every second of it, getting to be out there with my brothers, just all the time we spend together, the memories we make. It just it really just means everything.
And knowing that you're going to get one last opportunity to compete, what goes through your mind when you go to practice or when you are just getting ready to wrestle a match?
Well, it's like just kind of hard to believe that I'm this close to the end, so I just kind of got to make the most of it, do everything I can to everything for my brothers, because I know they'll do everything they can for me. So yeah.
And I'm sure, it's always said how fast these 4 years will go for you as a varsity wrestler. Have you shared that experience with some of these younger guys? Is that, you will get to that final season at some point and to maybe enjoy some of it a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll ever believe it because I never did, but yeah, it's definitely something everyone says. Oh yeah, it'll go fast, but
And this season, what have been some key matches, some key moments for you individually that stand out when you look back at the season so far?
probably my East-West finals match. I mean, even though I lost, it was just such a good match, the funnest match I wrestled all year. And just to know like I'm that close and it's just with that good competition, you know, it makes wrestling more fun, it makes competition more fun.
And you guys, you have a tough schedule every year, and that's always on purpose, obviously, with the teams that you wrestle. You have a tough region, so when you get to regionals, that competition doesn't stop. And East West is obviously top competition. Even though you didn't go the way you wanted to in the finals, there does it give you a lot of confidence, maybe a benchmark of what you want to accomplish and think you can accomplish now going into the state tournament?
Yeah, it definitely helps me, or it lets me kind of builds my confidence on, you know, that what I can do and what I can accomplish, and to know that nothing's out of reach, nothing's impossible.
And finally, going into the 3 days at the Fargo Dome, what are you maybe thinking about going to do a little bit differently that it is your last year? And what are the goals that you have for yourself and for your team?
I just want to make the most of the little bit of time I have left. I just want to have fun. I just want to enjoy it.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by and visiting with us, and good luck here in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Joining us now is the heavyweight Grant Lyons with us on our Lisbon Broncos wrestling special. Grant, you've done well this season individually and as a team. First off, congratulations on that. What's it like knowing that you're going to go into the Fargo Dome with a lot of good things working out for you?
Really great feeling. I like some of the matchups I'll be getting, and I just like that I put myself in a really good position. So really good about that.
Wrestling at 285 heavyweight, it's the top handful of wrestlers. You feel like it's just a match or two, a move or two difference between who's number one and who's the best wrestler in that weight class. What's it like being with such a top competitive, I would say top five at least, is such a competitive group?
It's very exciting. I like that, like every single one of us could easily win it. We're all coming back from last year, I think, except for one place winner. And it's just fun to be out there with all them guys.
And overall this season, a lot of success coming your way again in tournaments, in dual competition. What are some moments so far this year that have really stood out for you?
I guess for sure just being with the team and being able to win consecutively, and knowing I can count on every single one of my teammates. I know every time somebody steps on the mat, we absolutely have a fighting chance to win.
You go into the East-West, you wrestle in the finals, you get the win. Obviously tough competition there in the East-West. What was that experience like for you?
A lot of fun. I kind of got saved by the buzzer right at the end there, but glad I got to come back and win it. Last year during the semis, kind of caught me down in overtime, but glad I could come back and hopefully do it again here.
And, to get ready to wrestle every week, obviously you guys don't have, you look at your smaller weight classes, 106, 113, 120, you have plenty of guys wrestling there, your middleweight classes. Heavyweight, you're the guy, you're the heavyweight. What's it like finding the competition, and how do those guys help you get ready to wrestle every week?
I guess just getting into weird scrambles. When I go out on just versus a regular heavyweight match, we're just kind of on our feet, just bulldogging it kind of. But then, I get to wrestle Gabe Lyons and Levi Svem, and we're shooting shots and we're just getting into those nice scrambles, which I think really helps me out.
Getting ready to wrestle here at the Fargo Dome as a senior, what do you, knowing that you've been there years before and you've competed obviously and done well, What do you feel like going into this last time in terms of the expectations of maybe not the competition, but being at the Fargo Dome, being around all these wrestlers, just the whole experience? What do you feel that you've learned from previous years, and what are you going to take into your final year?
Definitely just be calm before the matches. Don't get too hyped up. Make sure you know when your match is gonna be up and like what weight they're on. And pretty much that, I guess.
And finally, what are the goals for you individually, and what are the goals for the team going into your 3 days at the Fargo Dome?
I just obviously win it all, I guess.
And what would that mean to you to win it individually, to win both state championships this year? What would all that mean to you when all is said and done?
Perfect senior season. I mean, it mean everything to me. I've seen everybody else, and I mean, all of us have been working hard up in the room, and I think it would just mean a lot to all of us.
All right, Grant. Well, thanks for visiting us with us here, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Grayson Lyons with us as we continue on with our wrestling special, talking to members of the Lisbon Broncos wrestling team. Grayson, first off, you guys winning your dual championship, moving on to state as his team. A whole lot of competition coming your way, but what has been some of the highlights for you so far this season?
Really just, I don't know, being able to be on the team with a good team. I don't know, just keeping our progress going, and just basically it.
And I'd ask your teammate the same question at 106, 113, 120. Not that there's not competition all around your lineup, but it seems the last couple of years, those weight classes, it's been a lot of wrestle offs, a lot of wrestlers fighting for some mat time at the varsity level. What has those practices been like for you?
They've definitely been challenging, working your way up to get that varsity spot. But yeah, just pushing through it. I don't know, trying to do my best to make my way up there.
What's your favorite part of being a member of the Broncos wrestling team and just being in wrestling in general?
I feel grateful because I'm on such a good team, and just we all work together, and just feel good.
What would you say has been a moment so far this season individually for you where it's been one of the highlights for you competition wise?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't think.
Well, I know it's been, you guys have wrestled a lot of matches. You've been around the state quite a bit, but state tournament wrestling at the Fargo Dome, you got some of the top wrestlers, or all the top wrestlers in the state, Class A and Class B, getting to compete in that. What are some things that you are looking forward to for a trip to the Fargo Dome for the state tournament?
Just, I don't know, trying to make my way up there, trying to just do my best, since this is my first time being on varsity, seeing where I can go with all those people, I'm wrestling, just, yeah.
And what are the goals for you moving on to the state wrestling tournament, both individually and as a team?
Just, I don't know, just trying to get first and just make another state title, just.
All right, well, thanks for joining us here. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're talking with Noah Anderson, 120-pounder, member of the Lisbon Broncos wrestling team, as this is our state wrestling special on yourliveevent.com. First off, Noah, congratulations on the team success so far this season, your individual success. What have been some highlights for you of this wrestling season?
Making it to the finals in the Store Hog, and making it to the finals in every single tournament I have, especially in New Salem.
Last year, you had some varsity time last year. You had a big moment wrestling at the state tournament in duel against New Salem, but last year, a lot of that varsity experience. How do you feel that that helped you getting ready for this year to wrestle at 120?
I feel like it definitely mentally challenged me for this year and physically, and it got me ready to keep my stuff together for this.
A lot of your teammates have wrestled varsity from freshman year, some seventh, eighth grade year. Obviously, you're wrestling as an underclassman, a lot of varsity matches. What have they taught you about having a long, almost four plus year varsity wrestling career? What are some advice that they've given you?
They told me to keep my grades up, just try to keep as healthy as possible, really.
What are some things that you're looking forward to for the chance to wrestle at the Fargo Dome again this year?
Looking forward to actually getting to wrestle there because last year I didn't get to. Looking forward to getting some more challenge from other teams, and definitely looking forward to see how far I can get.
And what is your goal coming into the state wrestling tournament?
My goal is to make it into the finals and try to get revenge on Chase.
All right, Noah. Well, thanks for joining us here. Good luck.
Yep, thank you.
We're talking with Griffin Greenlee from the Lisbon Broncos wrestling team as they get ready for state. Griffin, you guys qualify again as a dual team onto state. What's that feeling like knowing you get the opportunity to wrestle at the Fargo Dome as a team again?
It feels good. Feels good as always. It's nice to be able to make it there, and so.
Looking overall how this season has gone, I know you haven't wrestled as many matches as you probably would want to this year, but what have been some of the big highlights for you individually this year?
This year I haven't gotten many matches in. Can't really say I have many highlights this year, but hoping to make some at state. So.
And missing some time, missing some matches this year. What have you had to do differently in your preparation and able to keep yourself ready to go and ready to compete?
It's definitely harder. It's definitely harder not being able to wrestle in tournaments, still having to make weight, still having to be down at that weight, having to come to practice every day and not being able to wrestle in tournaments and stuff. It's definitely harder.
Last year, you got a chance to wrestle at state. You had a big matchup in the dual tournament. You were able to place individually. What did you think was some things that you learned from wrestling at state last year that you kept with you moving into this season?
Last year at state, I didn't do as good as I wanted in the individuals, and this year, I think I need to take it one step at a time. Last year, I was thinking about making it to the finals, thinking about making it to the semifinals, and my mind was all over the place, and I ended up not even making it to the semifinals. So this year, I think I just need to focus on one match at a time. So.
And as you get ready to prepare to wrestle at the state wrestling tournament, thinking about your goals and what you want to accomplish individually and as a team, what are those goals for you this year?
I want to be able to be there for my team, be able to support my team, and not so much an individual sport. You got to be there for your team, but I'm definitely hoping that I can be high up there on the podium for individuals. So.
All right, Griffin. Well, thanks for being with us here on our wrestling special, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Talk with Carter Wallner from the Lisbon Broncos. Your senior season, looking for another state championship. First off, to get to your senior year, what's that feeling like?
It's been a grind. Felt like a long time, but this season seems to be flying. It feels pretty good.
And I'm sure you probably heard a lot in your high school career that those 4 years are going to fly by. Do you feel like they really have flown by just in general, not just for the wrestling season?
Yeah, I remember being younger and thinking and listening to everyone saying that it was going to fly by, not believing them, and then being here now, looking back, it's like, dang, it really did fly by.
So you're in your senior season, and what did you look for going into the year when it came to setting your goals, knowing that this is it, this is the last chance you have to wrestle as a Bronco?
I guess we all kind of just have that go big or go home mindset, so it's nice being on a team where everyone's open-minded, everyone's positive, lift each other up when things go bad, everyone's there to help, and it's just everyone has a similar mindset, which is very nice.
Looking at this season overall as a whole, where do you feel your biggest successes have been, and where are some things that you know you want to start getting focused on a little bit more as we get to the state tournament?
Just overall, like all aspects just sharpening up now, especially since the beginning of the season is just kind of the perfection part of the year, trying to get everything down, all the little things, just getting the little things right, I think is my main thing.
And you know, your whole career, you've been on state championships. You've been to the Fargo Dome. What mindset are you going to have a little bit differently just with that experience of being at the state wrestling tournament, knowing that you are a senior? Are you going to maybe do things a little bit differently?
I don't know if I'll necessarily do anything too different than I have before, but it's definitely gonna feel more comfortable, help out with the younger kids on our team, take them under our wings and just calm everyone down, and it's just another tournament.
What are the goals for you for the 3 days in Fargo, and what are the goals for your team?
Definitely placing at state was at least top 5 would be my goals, and then for the team, it's winner all.
All right. Well, Carter, thanks for joining us here. Good luck at the state tournament.
Thank you.
Joining us now, 220-pounder Drew Anderson, as we're talking to members of the Lisbon Broncos wrestling team. Drew, you guys qualifying again as a team onto state. You guys will get to compete at the Fargo Dome. What's that like, knowing that you will be there all together as one for the state tournament?
It's really good. I like being with the team. They're like family to me. So
this season you've wrestled a lot more matches at 220. You've been in a lot of action this year. What was different for you this season?
I'm stronger and just working harder and stuff.
And having to jump in and get that experience at 220 pounds, which is a weight class with a lot of guys who wrestled a lot of matches, and you come in and try to fit into the mix. What has that been like to prepare to have to be a 220 pounder?
Well, it's a little different because I'm a little undersized, but I just go in there and give it my all.
And wrestling as a little undersized at 220, do you feel that in some areas it might give you a little bit of advantage against some of this competition that you have?
Yeah, a little bit better shape and move a little faster, I feel like.
Coming into the year, where were some areas that you know that you wanted to get better at, and where do you feel that you've fallen on meeting those expectations for yourself?
I wanted to get better on bottom and up on my feet, and I felt pretty good into them, working hard on them.
And being in the wrestling room with so many, I mean, so many ranked wrestlers on your team, so many who've been on the podium, state champions, guys who've been in a lot of big varsity matches. How much easier does it make for you to prepare and maybe get some tips or answer questions that you may have of things you want to work on?
Oh, it's way easier. They can help me on stuff that I need to learn and just teach me ways to do it better for my next match.
And finally, going on to wrestle at the Fargo Dome, what are some things that you're looking forward to outside of the competition, being at the Fargo Dome, and then what are the goals that you've set for yourself and for your team?
It's gonna be fun wrestling there for my first time, and hoping for a team who will win it, and I hope I can place.
All right. Well, hopefully continued success coming up here at the Fargo Dome. Thanks for being with us, and good luck.
Thank you.
Joining us now, co-head coach Kevin McCleary here, visiting with the Lisbon Broncos. Coach, another successful season for you guys. Obviously, you brought back a lot of talent, some wrestlers moving into new places. But what has been different? What are some things that you would maybe define this season as so far?
Different? It's always a little different. We started the year coming into Christmas time, missing a bunch of tournaments before the season, that kind of that changed our schedule and our dynamic of where we were trying to find matches early. Having the group of seniors that we have is different than last year. Last year, only having one seniors finding leadership was kind of coming from across the board, and this year we've got that heavy group of seniors in there that have really taken charge of it. It's fun to watch.
A lot of these wrestlers were part of the team during the COVID year, which was just such a weird year for so many reasons. You didn't know when you were going to wrestle. Guys were missing weeks at a time for COVID protocols, things like that. You come into this year where you talk about matches changing, some injuries, some guys kind of put out of position. Do you think some of those guys and you guys as coaches maybe kept some of those lessons you learned from that year into some of the adversity you faced this year?
Yeah, I think there's a little perspective on it that if you're missing a match or two before Christmas, it's not gonna break you or anything. We just gotta find the matches when you can get them. So I suppose there's some carryover on that. It felt there was a similar feel, I guess you could say.
This year, you guys have had a lot of success, and I think you look at the last couple of years. There's been those turning point moments where, a couple of years ago you lose to South Border in a regular season duel. You guys suffer a loss against Valley City. This year, I mean, obviously you did well at the Letterman tournament, a tournament that you guys kind of win consistently. But do you guys feel that when those moments have come up for you the last couple of years, that it's allowed your team and these guys to just refocus on what needs to be done to compete?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those lessons you wish wasn't necessary, but sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. You get that little wake up call, that push, that nudge that you need. And like you said, that last year was kind of the Valley City duel. The year before that, it was the South Border duel. This year, the Central Catholic Lettermans, it was definitely they got back afterwards and they were hungry. They wanted, they knew they didn't have it wrapped up in the bag, and they made an effort to grind for the rest of the season.
And you mentioned the seniors, the senior class that you have, and having so many of them. Obviously, every senior class, guys who wrestle that long, they're always a special group of guys, and they always have the definitive things. And what would you say are some of the special qualities about the seniors this year?
All right, man. I just had this conversation with one today. I don't know. They are rough on the younger guys. Like they push them at a level that you kind of wonder if they're going to break the younger kids some days, as they go at it. And somehow or another, they can come in there and be so hard on the younger guys, and the younger kids just respond to it. They smile, they dig in, and they work harder for them. I wish I could say I fully understand it. I don't, but it works, and the way that they lead is it's special.
You coach multiple sports. You guys have long wrestling it's long. The season's long. The tournaments are long. Those 3 days at the Fargo Dome are going to be long. You have family at home. Maybe here's an opportunity. I mean, how much does your wife and your family kind of keep you, make some sacrifices for you, I guess, and keep you focused?
Well, you go to some of the weeks, and we look at the East-West week, and we had we leave the night early, and so I see my wife for 2 nights during the week. I've got 3 daughters at home that you can tell the stress on them. When I get home on Sunday, they want to do nothing but climb on me for the entire day, and there's definitely a toll it takes on the family side of things, and we get that's honestly probably my hardest struggle with doing the multiple sports and coaching, is finding that family life balance. And I probably do too much to the sports and more to the work life than I probably should. But my wife is very understanding, and if she watches this, here's a shout out to you.
And I'm sure it makes it a little bit easier that you guys are winning championships when the wrestling season's done. The success that you've had the last few years, but as a coach, it's I would imagine the opportunities you get to be around some of the other top coaches in the state and see these other top wrestlers. You're probably not maybe thinking about it as much because you're focused on where your wrestlers need to be and some of that other stuff. But what's that experience like for a coach to be at the Fargo Dome for 3 days and be around all that?
Exhausting. no, it's fun every year. You get to come back and it feels like some sort of weird family membership. You come across and you know you're gonna see the same 20 guys that you saw last year, and they're gonna be grinding and trying to do the same thing. They're coming for you. They're trying to get their kids in that right place. Yeah, there's that what it's like to be around it is the best way to put it is it's exhausting, but it's also at the same time it's energizing watching what kids are willing to do today. I think sometimes you get that rap the kids today aren't as hardworking, or they're different than generations past. And you come in a wrestling room and you watch what you see in the Fargo Dome, and you know that's not true really fast. It's awesome to watch how hard kids work across the state, our room and others involved as well.
You guys have your eyes set on another double state championship, winning both the team and both the individual overall. What is it going to take for you guys to come away with both of those championships again and continue on that tradition?
Well, yeah, of course, that's the goal. Where we're at with the team that we've got, we've definitely got to say that we want to win them both. But we're gonna need kids to show up. It's just like always. We're gonna call on one or two of our kids and say, hey, you're gonna have to step up. You're gonna have to be the guy in this duel and get it done for us. And I put a lot of faith in our kids. They work their butts off, and it's going to come down to the kids getting it done when it comes time. We'll do our best to put them in the right positions and see where they play out.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for being with us here, and good luck. Well, I know we'll see plenty of each other around at the Fargo Dome for those 3 days.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Joel.